Joy in the City is a program highlighting people and organizations having an impact on our city. Too often, we hear about the problems and dysfunction in our culture. But we are coming with a different approach as we take a look at the good things that are going on right here in our community. I'm Lindsay Irvin, and you're about to see what God is doing in our city. We want to thank our program sponsors, Park Home, for the donation of furniture used in our studio, and our platinum sponsor, Harry's Construction, for their ongoing support of Joy in the City. Our stories are often about people and organizations based in our region doing things to impact our community. TEAMeffort, however, is an organization of people from all over the country that come every year to service our city.
TEAMeffort's a kind of multi-layer missions organization. We work facilitating mission trips for younger groups, high school and middle schoolers from their church that want to go on mission trips. We facilitate that, so we're here for the whole summer at different places. TEAMeffort is widespread across the United States. This is the Altoona camp though, and we have groups come in every week, so they are on week-long mission trips, so we kind of break that mold between short-term and long-term missions. Our groups normally do basic construction projects, painting, landscaping, flooring, building decks, ramps, anything that you can imagine. It has gone far enough that we work with, like right now, we're working with different ministries in the community, seeing what they need, and if that means scrubbing floors, that means scrubbing floors, whatever grows the kingdom.
My role on it is being the camp director for being the contractor on site. Make sure permits are pulled, things are done by code here in our city, and just to sit and chat with the kids, teach them new trades that they don't know. And it was 9 years ago I was contacted by Doug Jones to do this, and he said to me what it entailed to a certain point, and I said, okay, let me pray about it. So I did. About 2 months later I called him and said, Doug, I'm willing to give this a shot, not knowing what I walked into. And the first year was good. It just progressed and progressed, and it became a wonderful thing that I am so blessed to be a part of, to see what's happening with these kids in our city who will never know the impact TEAMeffort has on our city. Spiritually, physically, long past all the physical work they're going to do, the paint and the decks are going to be rotted. It's just what has done in the spiritual realm here in Altoona.
Over the years, the most amazing things that have happened to TEAMeffort Missions have come in unexpected and completely unpredictable ways. In fact, though TEAMeffort Missions diligently plan for their missions, God always eclipses their plans in unforeseen and amazing ways. They say they are blessed to be reminded not to lean on our own understanding, but to lean on Him in everything. How they came to serve in Altoona is such a story. TEAMeffort had a camp planned several hours away from Altoona. Youth groups had already signed up when the housing and other aspects of the camp fell apart completely. They began looking for alternatives with no success. Nothing was working out. Eventually, they found Altoona, and everything immediately fell into place. As they began to get to know the community and the people, it was obvious that this was God's plan. He directed their path to Altoona, and they haven't looked back since. TEAMeffort Director Doug Jones said, Altoona is a special place for TEAMeffort Missions. It's a second home where our youth groups and leaders have had life-changing experiences over the years. A place where we hope we have had some impact on people in need by serving alongside those in Altoona that care so much for their community. Altoona reminds us that it's the events and circumstances we don't plan for that always end up being the biggest blessings. Recently, we took a few moments with TEAMeffort, talking to a few leaders and students. This large group works very hard to accomplish their goals, and us coming in to film them didn't slow them down one bit, as you'll see during the interviews. We started by simply asking them, why would you take up a significant amount of your summer to serve in this capacity?
I do an internship back home at my church, and one of my friends told me about TEAMeffort, and as soon as I heard about it, I started researching it online, sent in my application, and got accepted, and I was extremely excited.
TEAMeffort
they kind of advertised that you didn't need any experience like to be on staff, like they're going to teach you everything that you needed to know. So I guess that's just kind of what drew me in, was just being able to come knowing nothing about like construction or anything, and then they'll teach me, and then I get to go and hang out with kids all summer, and it just was a really fun opportunity.
Well, I had been wanting to do team effort since I was 16. I had been a camper for 4 years before this year, and I just saw how much fun all the staff was always having, and I always thought that a week-long mission trip wasn't long enough, so I decided I wanted to do 8 weeks, so yeah.
Once I graduated high school, I've been going to like this thing called RSP, and you go there before you go to boot camp, and like you just like practice things that you do in the military. So we do some like weapons training, we do combatives training, stuff like that. I would have been going to basic training earlier, but because I wanted to go on this trip and like experience like a mission trip, because I've never been on one, I decided to wait until like the end of August to go. So, because I wanted to like help out and just like try to do as much as I could before I left for basic training.
These kids are amazing, and just as much as they impact our community, they are also personally impacted by this opportunity.
My favorite part of the journey so far, I would say, is seeing the impact that we actually have on the community. Just bringing in these different groups and being able to see how much different a homeowner or just even a person who runs an organization, just by the end of the week, the difference that we've made in their lives. While it's only a week, I can tell it just changes their whole entire life.
I was actually a camper a couple times in middle school, and this summer I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I just remembered like the spiritual atmosphere and just all the fun that we had as a camper, so I thought I would apply to be on staff, and I got the job, and here we are in Pennsylvania, and it's been such a great summer.
The love and compassion they show for random communities that they don't even know, like being able to have these campers that show up and just love whoever they're serving, whether it be in a school, whether it be in a home, whether it be in a cemetery. Just being able to come to a place where everyone is worshiping the Lord and showing the Lord's love to these people that they don't even know, that they're able to just come wholeheartedly and love the community as their own, as if they were back at home, and just helping a neighbor out. And just being a part of it feels like you're being so much more than yourself, and you're being something that the Lord wants you to be, which is a really cool part for me.
I definitely feel like my relationship with Jesus is a lot stronger. Doing something like this and being so far away of home is a big leap of faith for me, and I think, just by me taking that leap of faith and putting everything in God's hand has really made me stronger within the Lord, and yeah.
My relationship with God, it wasn't like, I didn't start going to church or anything like that until like last year. I went with my parents every now and then, but it wasn't as big. But ever since I've been going to church and going to youth group, it's just been a big impact on me and having more trust and a lot of like more morale, making me feel better about myself, making me be like a better attitude towards people and everything in my life that comes towards me.
It just seemed like everything that we did pointed back to the Lord. Like, I remember like my youth group got a flat tire or something, and somebody stopped by to help us, and we were like, God sent him. But like, it seems like we're just more aware of his presence and like pointing back to him, and we're more intentional about doing it during the summer, which was something I really liked.
As we interacted with them, we saw hearts to serve and follow Christ's example in loving people. A few told us why you should consider a missions opportunity with Team Effort.
Throughout training, like, we kind of run through it as if we were the campers. We get to see like what chapel's gonna be like and things like that. So some people, like, they come into it and it's their first year on staff, first year as like any experience with Team Effort. And so when you go into training, they teach you all these things that you might use during the summer, whether it's doing tiling, doing drywall, building a porch, landscaping, things like that. And they teach you all those things, but then you also get to experience the chapel side of it. You get to experience the worship service, the messages that we get to go through throughout the summer, and everything we get to talk about and hear the stories of how people are people and how we're all human and this world is a broken world that we all get to be a part of trying to heal this broken world that we live in and make the Lord the main part of it.
Definitely one of my biggest hesitations was the fact that I had never really done much construction or like work with power tools or anything. But like you can definitely come in with no experience and they'll teach you everything you need to know. Like as long as you have a heart for serving and for kids, like you're gonna have a great summer.
Well, spiritual impact on the kids that have come on this trip to Altoona is it gets them out of their regular environment, the social environment where they have to be conformed by the world, and it lets them be moved by God. It lets them peel away those layers and be more of themselves and more God-focused and not worry about what other people think. It's okay to get dirty and it's okay to just be yourself, and just generally brings you back to where I think people want to be without all the social pressures.
Well, I feel like if there's problems with people and like whether it's mental, physical, I want to try to help out as much as I can, whether they know it or not, because I've been at like points in my life where I've needed a lot of help from people, and it's just like made a difference on how many like lives have impacted me, and I want to just try to make as much of an impact on the lives as I can while I'm still here. Probably the new people I meet and the way how like other people can do things and have been dealing with the things they have, and my relationship with God.
So the kids are from different churches. This week we actually have about 4 churches coming from different parts of the United States all coming together in Altoona. They decide where they want to go through a team effort trip, so they all decided to come to Altoona for different reasons. Maybe that they like our facilities, or maybe because they've been here before and have had more of an impact in this community in the past. We have groups that have come to Blue Knob since we've been at Blue Knob, so it's really cool. So at our camp, we have normally between 50 and 80 students every week, I would say on average. And that comes from a different number of churches. So we have, some weeks we'll have smaller groups and some groups will have bigger. So this week we have a group of 40 something from one church and a group of 9 from another church. And so they all gather together and we all meet together in the nighttime chapel services, and then we all go out to different places in the community during the day. Our staff is here for 8 weeks, so we started the beginning of June, ended the end of July, so it's a summer gig for us, and so we're here for the whole 2 months, and the groups will come in every single week. I would say probably this summer in the 300s. Yeah, which is so cool. Can you imagine? I mean, we have a group from Wisconsin this week. We have a group from Ohio. We've had groups from Pennsylvania. And then you have my staff, which we come from all over the South.
I've seen campers come to know the Lord. I've seen campers and staff members change my life, just the things that they do. It gave me a different outlook on things. Just being able to sit down and talk to them, the families, their family lives aren't the greatest. And I enjoy talking to them, and if I can minister to them, I enjoy it. That's how I'm impacted by the whole thing. And seeing them learn a new trade, because the carpentry trade's a dying trade. So, and then just to watch the kids interact with homeowners, watch the kids interact with different churches, because it's not about any denominational church. We have all denominations come for team effort, and it's how they interact with each other. Every year when team effort comes, we have a theme that we work on, and this year happens to be baggage, and it's found in Hebrews 12:1. It says, so then with endurance let us also run the race that is laid out in front of us. Since we have such a great cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us throw off any extra baggage and get rid of the sin that trips us up. This theme this year is a wonderful theme. I've seen kids come to the cross on Thursday nights, weeping and crying at things that they have in their past. And we all have things in our past. We all have baggage in our life. And we need to learn how to let them at the cross and give them over to the Lord. Because this baggage can run us down a road of destruction. I've seen it in the past week because in my family. And I would encourage anybody listening to this program, if you have any kind of baggage in your life that's weighing you down, to talk with your local pastor or local leaders and get some help. and lay your problems at the cross. But that's the only way out.
If you would like more information about Team Effort, contact us at stories@jointhecity.org, and we'll be sure to connect you with the appropriate people.
I love seeing the impact it makes in the community, that we're working not only with these students and trying to pour into them and making sure that they understand why they're doing this, but also into the community and working with homeowners specifically or with big old ministries, and making that difference. It is incredible to see the change and to empower others to make the change. And that's basically what I feel like my job is as this director, is to empower my staff and for my staff to empower their students and for everybody to empower this community, because we are going on mission trips, but the mission is in your community. And these kids get to take that home, and I get to take that home, but also we get to come out here and work here.
And I heard someone say today, the world will never have enough love. And I think if we can add a little bit of love every day, no matter how small, it'll all add up. I'd love to thank City of Altoona. This place is awesome. I feel like now it's an adopted hometown for me. Reminds me a little bit of the town I grew up in, with the houses and stuff. And I'm glad that we're able to come here and help people in Altoona, because I'm sure they would love to visit us sometime and help our community too.
If you know of a person or organization impacting our city, we want to hear about it. So you can contact us at 814-944-1948 or by email at stories@jointhecity.org.
Today's Platinum sponsor is Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." Recently opening Harry's Construction Kitchen and Bath Center so you, the consumer, can see examples of the variety of services provided by the team at Harry's Construction. Regardless of the project size, Harry's team approaches each project as if it is his own home. Be sure to visit Harry's Construction Kitchen and Bath Center at 114 Main Street in Bellwood. You can also visit their website to see pictures of home improvement projects over the years. Thanks again to Harry Halk and the team for supporting Joy in the City.
As we continue today, here are a few thoughts from our director, Troy Ferguson.
Today what I want to talk to you about is so many times when we are desiring to make a change in our life, desiring to do something new, creative, as I often say, dream big. We look at the end result, we look at the big picture at the end that we want to accomplish, and we think, okay, what is it I need to do to do that, to do the big change? Let me just encourage you, whatever that might be, start small. What does that look like? Well, if you want to be a singer and you want to be on American Idol or The Voice or something, don't just think, okay, I just need my shot to go sing for them and everything will change, my life will be fantastic. Start singing, start doing something, start developing now on a small scale. Maybe you sing for your family, you sing at your church, you sing in a situation that people can help develop you, that at some point in some time, you will get an opportunity to sing on a bigger scale. As a filmmaker, I have seen time and time again where people say, as you're learning, as you're developing the art and the craft of filmmaking, do a few projects for free. Do a wedding for free. Do a promotional commercial for free. Do some things to just get into the concept, into the business at a free cost or at a very low cost, so you can get your feet wet, you can get the concepts and develop that skill. Too often we think, okay, I've watched 20 YouTube videos, now I'm ready to charge $5,000 to make a commercial. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work out that way. As a matter of fact, most things in life, we got to start at a small level. And I just want to challenge you today, just because you're dreaming big and thinking big, which I fully encourage, as you know, I also want to say, start with something small. All these things can be stepping stones to that process of doing something on a much bigger scale. This whole concept is scriptural as well. We know in Luke 16:10, it says, those who are faithful with little will be faithful with much. If God blesses you with a talent in something and you are faithful with it in your home, in your workplace, in your church, in a small scale, God will continue to bless you and give you opportunities at a much bigger scale, much bigger opportunities. But I will tell you right now, I have seen time and time again, if you jump into something that you're not prepared for, physically, emotionally, spiritually, musically, whatever it is, if you're not prepared for it, even if you reach that status, you will falter quickly because you haven't gone through the journey of preparing for it, starting small. So today, let me encourage you. If you're looking at something and you're dreaming something, go big, but at the same time, start small, and you will be blessed. Have a great day.
Recently, at our annual Join the City live benefit dinner, our executive director, Troy Ferguson, sat down with Spencer Folmar, a Hollywood writer, director, and filmmaker, in an interview-style discussion on the process and disciplines required to develop a dream. This is an interview from that live event.
Can I ask you something?
What is it?
Take your brother back home.
So what's in her hometown?
Dad.
The loner brother was in love. Is still in love? Surprised to see you.
Yeah, I'm back.
And this place looks worse than the sun's up.
This is someone's home and you never disrespect them. Even if it's your own.
Yeah, some things never change, do they? No, they don't. No matter how hard you try. What did the sheriff mean? It's a bad history of repeating.
Family. I just want the pain to go away. Where are you? Where are you?
Living has been hard. But the dying, it'll be easy.
Tell me, how do you forgive Bill for what he did?
You left me too, Drew. I had to leave.
You walk in here acting like things have changed. Like you've changed.
The man should be able to look at himself in the mirror. Look himself in the eye and know exactly who he is. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it.
Can you now? I'm just so scared I'm gonna end up like him.
That was a trailer to a film called Generational Sins. Generational Sins that Spencer wrote and directed and produced. And so that was about 2 years ago, that film. Tell me about Hard Faith Films, which is what was the genre in which this was produced.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, Troy. It's a real honor to be here amongst you all. So Generational Sins was my third feature film, and it's something I filmed in this area. It came out October 6th of October 17. And so it came under the new label. It's actually a trademark of ours called Hard Faith. And where the inspiration came for this, what we call a genre of film, was a lot from my own personal experience. I didn't grow up in the church, wasn't aware of what we call faith-based films whatsoever. And so when I came to faith in my early 20s, and I then discovered the world of faith-based films, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of them. And so I felt like if I was going to tell a film and it dealt with God, it was going to deal with issues of the heart and issues that usually bring people to conversion.
Now, Hard Faith Films, a little bit different than typical traditional faith-based Christian films. Hard Faith Films hits things a little bit differently, and there's a little bit of, in the Christian culture, a little bit of controversy around some things with it. Why don't you address, we're just going to hit the elephant in the room right off the bat, address your approach to what's controversial and why do you go that direction?
Yeah, absolutely. So our films, Generational Sins, is about two brothers who return home to reconcile with their alcoholic and abusive father. So that's some pretty heavy material, and it's material that isn't necessarily kid-friendly. And Hard Faith Films, we look to show the world as it actually is and not as we would like it to be. So often faith-based films censor the world, and they actually create a reality that has never existed. And it's a fake reality that shows the world as we would like it to be, where no one says any four-letter words, or there's no violence, there's nothing PG-13, there's nothing R-rated. But the world in which we live in, and thankfully the way that the Bible talks about the world, it doesn't hold back any punches, because this world is so unrated. My heart is so unrated. The human condition, sin and depravity, is so bad that we could never get it approved by the MPAA. And so I think that films, in depicting the real world, should do so honestly.
So this Hard Faith Films and your journey of filmmaking, talk to us a little bit. Tonight's about dreaming, and this particular section is about developing your dream. Talk to us a little bit about maybe a snapshot of how you have developed this dream in what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in central Pennsylvania, went to a little high school called West Branch, and I live now in Hollywood and produce and direct films full time. And I was fortunate. From a very young age, I knew that I wanted to be in film production. I knew I wanted to direct movies. Fell in love with cinema, going to the drive-in in Clearfield at the Super 322, going to the Roland Theater, and I love movies. And so pretty much my entire life, since elementary school, has been leading towards this career, has been leading towards developing this skill and this craft. It's a lot of, obviously, hard work. And there's a lot of different ways that you can climb the ladder in Hollywood. I went to film school. I went to NYU for my Master's of Fine Arts in Film, attended various other film schools, and I made my first feature film 13 years ago. So this has been a long journey.
Wow. Well, Spencer's going to tell us a lot more a little later as our keynote speaker, but I just want to get a little snapshot of his process, and I would just like you to appreciate him as we wrap up this segment. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you for watching Joy in the City True Stories. Let me encourage you to watch other episodes of people and organizations impacting our community at ABC 23 at 5:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. every Sunday. You can also catch us each week on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Until then, be encouraged, because God is moving in our city.